Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon evening meeting of the Sacramento City Council. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby.
Here.
Councilmember Laloie.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Valenzuela.
Here.
Vice Mayor Chenier.
Here.
Councilmember Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Councilmember Vang.
Here.
And Mayor Steinberg.
Here. All right. Good evening, everybody. Let's rise. Ask Councilmember Guerra, new father, Councilmember Guerra, to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Is that too? Can you do that,
We'll see
Aaron?
if we can do it. I just got him to sleep, so.
Oh my God,
So
sorry.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How's that new constituent doing?
He's good. Yeah, I'd flip him over, but he's actually wearing an American flag shirt, so
Oh, that's wonderful.
he's doing good.
That's beautiful. Okay, members, we've got a consent calendar. We have three, I think, relatively short, non-controversial items, and we had a long afternoon meeting and a closed session, so that should work out fine. Let's go with the consent calendar. Are there any items that members would like to have heard separately, be voted on separately, or simply comment on?
Mayor?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes,
Go ahead,
Councilman.
Councilmember Vang. I would like to pull item 4 and item 5 and comment on item 10.
You want a separate vote for items 4 and 5?
Mm-hmm.
And okay. And comment on 10. Okay, very good. Councilmember Valenzuela?
Thank you. I will additionally ask item 2 to be pulled for a full staff presentation and public comment.
Okay. Okay.
And Mayor, when I say pull, I mean pulling also meaning that, that staff would just do a quick presentation on the topic as well, because I just want the community to be aware of it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mayor,
Okay.
I'll move the balance of consent.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Let's just be clear what we're voting on here. The motion is items 1, 3, 6 through 9. No, 6 through 10, because we're gonna have Councilmember Vang comment on 10 in a minute. 6 through, 21. That's again, 1, 3, and 6 through 21. That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there public testimony on the consent calendar other than items 3, 4, and 5?
I mean 2, 4, and 5, right, Mayor?
I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's 2, 4, and 5.
I have one hand raised. Would you like me to take that now?
The public comment?
Correct.
Yes, Madam Clerk, please.
Thank you. Rebecca Sandoval.
I'm sorry, I meant to lower my hand. No, I don't want to comment on this.
Thank
Okay.
you. I will lower that hand.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. Is there any other public testimony on the consent calendar then, Madam Clerk?
I have no additional hands raised.
Okay, so Councilmember Vang, why don't you make your comment, please, on item 10?
Yeah, just again, wanted to just give a shout out to our Mac Road PBID, Bill Knowlton in particular, for all the great work that he's done. Really excited that we're going to get renewal, and just wanted to just give a shout out to an amazing PBID in my district that does a lot of great work. And I don't know if Councilmember Jennings wants to add as well, because I know that it's also in his district as well.
There's no question. They do a great job. This was an easy renewal, and I am happy to support it and continue the work that they're doing of growing our Mac Road partnership at Mac Road area.
No.
Okay, very good. So now let's call the roll, please, on the consent items that I listed earlier that was moved by Councilmember Harris and seconded by Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby.
Yes.
Councilmember Laloie.
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes. All right, that portion of the consent calendar passes. Now let's go back to the pulled items. Let's begin with item 2. Councilman, you want a staff presentation?
Yes.
Correct. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay,
Oh, just Katie. Okay, got it. Councilwoman Valenzuela.
it's okay. We gotta turn it over to Jennifer Venema here for a
Yeah.
brief report.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. We're happy to provide the quarterly report update on the climate implementation work plan, which we discussed at council in December. And with the funding that was allocated in the mid-year budget, we've been busy hiring staff. The biggest milestone, as all of you will recall, was the adoption of the new building electrification ordinance on June 1st. We have a number of related items underway and other exciting efforts in the works. If folks are interested and have additional questions, we're happy to speak, especially topics of heat and drought related response. There's a lot of efforts underway that our departments are leading, and we're here and happy to take any of those questions.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Valenzuela, why don't you take the mic, please?
Thank you. Yeah, and I wasn't sure if there was any folks who wanted to do public comment on this item, but I will say how much I've appreciated working with Jennifer and your team on like the electrification work, and we're excited to bring back an update soon. I also want to say that I noticed in the staff report that we're still saying 2045 for carbon neutrality, and I'm sure some of you might have gotten emails. I got some emails saying, "Hey, isn't it supposed to be 2030?" The state's now moving towards 2035, so I wanted to definitely name that. And Jennifer, see if you had any comments before we approve the item. But yeah, I wasn't sure. I don't see any hands up for other public comments. But yeah, I know folks wanted to make comments, so I apologize that nobody is making comments. I did get questions about what our response was for heat and any sort of drought related efforts we're making, if you want to cover those briefly. But the 2045 part was my main question. Thank you, Jennifer.
Absolutely. And very quickly in response to that, in terms of the 2045 target, that was adopted by the council in November of 2019 as that foundational baseline for our 2040 general plan update. And we're working closely with the Community Development Department. Staff will be coming back to do a workshop presentation to council on climate action issues this fall as it relates to the general plan and the climate action plan. And that will be a great opportunity to talk about targets. Related to urban heat, the city's been a partner in the Global Cool Cities Alliance and been exploring opportunities for things like cool paving technologies. We've also been exploring and looking at how we can better partner with community partners like the Sacramento Tree Foundation, collaborating with the EJ Collaborative Governance Committee and more. We do have staff that can speak to related efforts, and our Department of Utilities is very busy with a lot of incentives and programs and immediate response to the drought, including actions to cut water use at city facilities as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, I think we should probably be aiming earlier than 2045, but I'll save it for that discussion you noted. And then I'll note, Mayor, that it looks like we do have one public commenter who's ready to ask.
Yeah, I mean, 2045, we did have this debate. We want to get to, we want carbon neutrality by 2030, not sooner. I know that's absolutely the aspiration. Okay, we have one member of the public wants to testify.
Rosie Yocob.
Yeah, speaking to again about that 2030 versus 2045 timeline, when the council signed the emergency declaration, it definitely put a focus on 2030. When SMUD decided that they would make an effort to be all renewable by 2030, that kind of underscored the need to have stuff by 2030. We need to have some solid goals. I just want to get on the council's radar that 2045 is too late to try to produce the majority of the items, and from what I've seen in the documentation, so far what we have to address 2030 is like a spreadsheet thing where we take what we expect to happen by 2045, and then we just use Excel to figure out what 2030 looks like. I'd like to council to start thinking about and directing staff on creating a list of concrete items that are milestones and not just calculations towards that goal. So for like example, something that I'm a little more familiar with is electrification. And, you could break down and say, by 2045, we expect the city to be fully retrofit, although it really should happen by 2035 or maybe even sooner. But then by 2030, what we expect is, and will support, is having all of the rental housing in the city of Sacramento. Just things like that, like creates actual substantive item-based goals for 2030 instead of just a calculation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Okay, are you moving the item, Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes, with thanks to Jennifer and Rosie with 350 Sacramento for your all's engagement. And with the hope that the next time we talk about a target, we can formalize something closer to 2030. Thanks, Jennifer. I'll move the item.
Very good. Seconded. I'll second it. Go ahead. Let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier?
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra?
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. All right, that measure passes. Let's now move to item 4.
Thanks, Mayor. I would just like staff to do a quick presentation about what critical infrastructure is. I've had just community members who just wanted more information, and I just thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to share publicly what this list is and this resolution on consent that we're signing,
Excellent.
if it's approved.
Thank you very much. I'd be happy to do that. Chris Conlon, Assistant City Manager. So the item that's before you is approval of the critical infrastructure list. In February of 2020, Council approved a critical infrastructure ordinance that basically provided for the protection of critical infrastructure and wildfire risk areas in the interest of public safety. For context, this was following a couple of very wet winters when we had some concerns about levee integrity. And also after about 3 months during a summer period, we had about 1,000 wildfires within the city. And we had some of the most devastating wildfires in California history. So we wanted to make sure that we could protect what was most important within the city so that the city could continue to function. Things like electrical systems, things like the water systems, things like critical buildings, public safety, response systems, all of that. When it was passed, the critical infrastructure code said critical infrastructure may include, but it's not limited to government buildings such as fire stations, police stations, jails, courthouses, hospital structures such as antennas, bridges, roads, trains, drainage systems, or levees, or systems such as computer networks, public utilities, electrical wires, natural gas pipelines, telecommunication centers, or water sources. And the place where this comes from is from the Department of Homeland Security. After the Oklahoma bombings and then 9/11, they put out criteria for critical infrastructure with recommendations on protection for all municipalities. When the ordinance was passed, council made a decision that they would immediately allow for levees to be considered critical infrastructure and for the wildland fire risk areas to be designated. But council wanted to vote on the critical infrastructure list at a later date when it came out. COVID hit not shortly after that was approved, and that kind of put a stop on this for a while. Plus, we had the public health order that really kind of changed the dynamics out there in the city. What we have now placed in front of you is that critical infrastructure list. It's broken out by categories. They include everything from vulnerable population sites like child care centers, social rehabilitation facilities, navigation centers for our homeless. They also include things like SMUD power infrastructure, all the high tension wires and systems that we have going throughout the city. It lists things like police stations and fire stations so that the 911 responses the community asked for can get there in time. Train facilities, RT facilities, our airport here, and then gathering areas. We use those gathering areas because first off, they're a terrorist item, and we learned that unfortunately through some attacks that we've seen over the years. And secondly, in an emergency, that's where we take people that are evacuated from floods and fires and all sorts of things. Not necessarily happening in our city, but in a FEMA type response, we have to have them available to house people when that emergency occurs. I think we've had a chance to brief all the various council offices on this in detail, but if you have any specific questions for me on the critical infrastructure list, please ask them now.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate that overview. And I hope that community members who requested also had a chance to hear your presentation on that. Really also just want to say thank you. I think these locations are really critical and really integral to our operations and how we function as a city, especially for the public health and safety and welfare of our residents. So I would just wanted to say thank you for that. I think one thing I did ask during our briefing, and I don't know, because I'm looking at the resolution, but just something for my colleagues to think about is that given that these sites are, when passed, is listed as critical infrastructure, and if it is city buildings, I think about our deferred maintenance list and prioritizing our deferred maintenance list. I know the deferred maintenance is really long, but given that if we have city facilities that are on this critical infrastructure list, I think we should flag that as a priority when we're looking at a deferred maintenance, because that's incredibly important. And so wanted just to have that conversation with my colleagues, because I do think, we have to prioritize deferred maintenance. And if this is critical to our infrastructure, if there's an emergency, then we have to make sure that facility is up to par. And so just wanted to make that comment. And thank you, Chris, and also Daniel Bowers, for all the great work that y'all are doing. I don't know if my other colleagues have questions or comments, but this was really great, and wanted to make sure the public was informed.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Very good. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chris, also for that presentation. I wanted to get have a direct question about what this means for folks who are unhoused and for encampments. So it's my understanding that I think initially this ordinance came up as a concern when it related to folks experiencing homelessness and the potential impact they might be having on critical infrastructure sites, but wanted to just ask the direct question about what this means for folks who are sleeping on the streets or in vehicles.
So streets are not critical infrastructure on here. Vehicle is not critical infrastructure on here. Over the course of the last year, there have been circumstances where camps were on top of levees that required maintenance before the rainy season. And we asked those folks there, Bridget Dean's group, to move temporarily while maintenance was done. And then once maintenance was done, they were allowed to move back. There are some areas, obviously, that we don't want anybody in at any time. High tension wires and things like that are out there. We mentioned that some of the critical infrastructure includes things like the fiber optic cables that run through our city that basically are the nerve center, if you will, for our dispatch of 911 and other things. So there are certain places that we just cannot have people be in or at for their own safety, as well as for the safety of other citizens in the city. But most of these are temporal. Most of these are, and it's designed, that's the way the order was designed, where somebody needs to go in and do maintenance or they need to operate it. And if for some reason there's a blockage, then they need to be able to ask people to move so that they can get that work done and then allow things to happen. And I would tell you too, this was not written as a enforcement homeless ordinance. Absolutely not. I'll give you a good indication on the levies, right? Over time, we have had all sorts of things on the levees, like people riding dirt bikes on them and ATVs for recreation. We've had homeowners that, for whatever reason, believe that they can cover it with decks or pools or dig into them and things like that. Back when this was written around 2017, we had a real scare because we had a very wet winter, and we found some of those levees were failing on us. And we obviously cannot withstand that as a city that has lived through flooding that is record So we wanted to make sure that all of that critical infrastructure was there and was fully operating. And as I also mentioned, to start right off with, some of the homeless sites like Meadowview, WX, and other homeless shelters are on this list as well, because we understand that's our most vulnerable population. And just like with the hospitals, we don't want them to be interfered with.
No, I appreciate that. And I think some of these sites are really instinctual because it's like, yeah, if there's like a water system or there's something in like the levees, we need to figure that out. Some of these are pretty broad though. Like when you think about like transit facilities, community centers, like I think about the Hart Senior Center over here. It's
Right.
like, okay, would this just apply to the area around the community center? Is this going to apply to the whole park that the center's in the middle of? Like I guess just so that there's clarity to the community about what this does and does not mean. What I'm hearing you say is sans like an immediate like safety issue, both for them and for the infrastructure. Folks are going to be able to camp as long, but we will at times need to ask them to relocate so that we can do maintenance or use it for emergency purposes. Is that
So-
kind of what I'm hearing you say?
Right. So let's talk about community centers. So community centers are designated as a facility as opposed to as a parcel. You'll see that the delineation is made
Mhm.
on the list. When we delineate something as a facility, it is simply the facility. The reason why a community center is on there is because a community center, as we know, is an emergency place. That's where we do cooling centers. That's where we do warming centers. In evacuations, that's where we put people that are evacuated. We have done vaccination sites out of those. Those are critical infrastructure to this community. So what we cannot have people do is block the ability for folks to go in and out of there. It does not say anything about the parcel. It just is the facility itself, the building itself. Same for a place like, let's give the new convention center that we just built, right? That facility is critical infrastructure because it houses a mass of people that is a terrorist threat. And also because if we have to get people in there for an emergency situation, we need to be able to operate the building and get people in and out. It does not say anything about the parcel around it. So the walkways, the sidewalks, all of that, that is not involved in this. Now, I say that with an understanding too that many of our community centers are within parks and there are special rules for parks as far as camping overnight.
Of course. I really appreciate that clarity, Chris. I got a lot of panicked calls and texts, as I'm sure Councilmember Vang did as well. And so I appreciate you taking the time to be specific and thank you for your time tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay,
So with that, I'll move it.
okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, second, third, fourth. All right, let's call the roll, please.
So, Mr. Mayor, I have one speaker on this item. It's Daryl Roberts.
Go ahead. Yes, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Simply rising in support of item number 4, the critical infrastructure item. It appears that you are moving forward with it, and I agree with you moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. All right, call the roll, please.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Yes, that passes. We have one more item on the consent calendar, and that's item 5.
Thanks, Mayor. Just really quick, I wanted staff just to explain a little bit about this grant. I think it's really awesome, that we are going to be applying for this Small Business Administration grant. And wanted staff just to share a little bit about the Community Navigator pilot program. And I know as we're applying, because we're going to give them authority, just the type of just programs that staff is thinking about. And one of them is just to share that.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Denise Malvetti with the Office of Innovation and Economic Development. And as Councilmember Vang just outlined for you, the item before you tonight is authorization to apply for an SBA grant for the Community Navigator program. This is a new program. This program was established under the American Rescue Plan Act, and there was $100 million allocated to this program. We are seeking authorization to apply for a $2.5 million grant. This program, since it is through the SBA, it really is about helping small businesses, helping entrepreneurs in the economic recovery
specifically as it relates to financial recovery, assisting businesses with access to financial resources, various SBA products, as well as other forms of technical assistance. This is a hub and spoke model grant, and so the city is applying to be the hub. Per the grant requirements, you are required to have at least 5 spokes. And so we went through a quick solicitation process in order to meet the grant guidelines and deadline, and we'll plan to move forward with 8 spoke partners to assist us in this outreach. And again, the spoke partners really are to be embedded in the community to work with various businesses to assist in the economic recovery. So with that, I'm certainly happy to answer any specific questions. Again, we are seeking authority to apply for this grant. The application is due this Friday, and also seeking authorization to take any budget actions needed should the city get awarded the grant.
Thanks, Denise. Just one question for the 8, you said spoke, or are they like partners? I was wondering how was that decided? I'm just curious about that.
Yes, so since these are federal funds, it was recommended we go through a solicitation. And so we put out a NOFA very quickly, since this is all coming together very quickly. And so we were seeking community partners who provide small business technical assistance, especially those who are familiar with SBA products, those who have close relationships with businesses and can really help be that conduit of information to either federal funding opportunities, whether that's SBA loans, it could be contracting opportunities, as well as we believe we will have the ability to do some broader technical assistance and business support.
Okay, thanks. I just asked that in particular because I think for this grant, I know y'all are going to do a great job applying for it. And when we do receive it, sending good energy to the universe, just making sure that, our focus is really on serving historically underserved businesses. So I was just asking about that in particular, but just wanted to say, I fully support this and really looking forward to hearing what the outcome is. I just want to make sure that we stay laser focused on getting these dollars to our underserved businesses that need it the most. So thank you so much for your work on this. And with that, Mayor, I will move to I will move to motion this item.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and second. Is there any public testimony?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one caller. It's a phone call, last 4 digits 9211.
Okay.
Please do *6 to unmute. Caller with the phone number last 4 digits 9211, please make your comments.
Yes, this is Lambert of To the Bay and Back Cheesecakes, and this is a department of the city manager's office, like economic and innovation. Shout out to City Councilwoman Vang, because whoever just made the presentation, she confirmed what the problem was last time with CARE Acts and different programs. She said that it'll go to people they're familiar with it, that they've worked with. That eliminates people that are online with just as much qualifications but are not being given an opportunity. And that department is the innovation and economics, and I know them because I filled out paperwork when I applied after they reached out to the Urban League, which kept me in the loop. So, I mean, this is the problem. And thank you, City Councilwoman Vang, because that's what happened to me. After they sent out everything and got it to the same people that's been getting it forever, that's a quota to me. And to me, that's against the law. When you have quotas for people that have already been in the system, well, how do people get in the system that are qualified to get in the system? So thank you, City Councilwoman Vang. That was outstanding to put the focus on that. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Mr.
comments.
All right, let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby,
Yes.
Councilmember Laloie,
Aye.
Councilmember Harris,
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier,
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra,
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings,
Aye.
Councilmember Vang,
Yes.
and Mayor Steinberg.
Aye. Okay, that's the consent calendar. Members, we do have, again, 3 brief items. I don't think they'll be controversial. Let's take them one at a time. Who's doing 22?
Mayor, this is Councilmember Harris. I would ask to waive the staff presentation, open and close the public hearing, and move the item.
Second.
Very good. Call the roll, please.
I have one speaker on this item of a phone call. It looks like they put their hand down. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier?
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra?
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings?
And thank you to all the Power In folks over there.
Councilmember Vang?
You
Yes.
got Jennings.
Pardon.
Yeah, Jennings. I was like, I can go for Jennings. Jennings, you can vote for me.
All right, go ahead, do it.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Item 23.
Mayor, once again, I would ask to waive the presentation, open and close the public hearing, and move the item.
Once again, I would second it.
All right. Is there public testimony on this one?
There is no public testimony on this one. Mayor Pro Tem Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier?
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra?
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. All right, that passes 9-0. Let's go to 24.
And Mr. Mayor, staff does have something to read into the record on this item.
Okay. Go ahead. Say,
Good evening, Mayor Steinberg
good evening.
and Council Member. My name is Fadi Jaja. I'm the Billing Services Manager with the Department of Utilities. I would like to read into record that the total amount to be levied as special assessment, as indicated in the staff report, has been reduced as a result of payment received. The total delinquency amount to be levied as a special assessment is $6,305,548.83. Exhibit A in the staff report has been revised to reflect these changes, and a copy is on file in the city clerk's office. We would like to remind the mayor and council that the department continues, as directed, to not assess late fees and penalties. We also have not shut off our customers' water services for non-payment for over 2 years and have no plans to resume that practice. I respectfully request the mayor and council to open and close the public hearing and adopt the resolution.
I'll open and close the public hearing and move the item.
Second.
Very good. All right, is there public testimony?
There's no public testimony on this item.
Then let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Ashby?
Yes.
Councilmember Laloe?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
Councilmember Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chenier?
Aye.
Councilmember Guerra?
Aye.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Councilmember Vang?
Yes.
And Mayor Steinberg?
Yes. All right, thank you very much. That passed 9-0. Thank you very much to the
Thank
city
you.
staff. I know those items actually require a lot of hard work, even if they're dispensed with quickly by the city council. So thank you. So that ends the meeting. Council ideas and questions. I know I want to raise something quickly. I'm very concerned about the fire department brownouts. And I've talked to my colleagues, Councilmember Ashby, Mayor Pro Tem Ashby, I've talked to the city manager about this. I haven't been able to connect with Chief Loesch, and I will. And I don't have the answer to this, but I do know that we are incurring huge amounts of overtime. We don't have enough fire department personnel, and that we ought to be doing everything we can to be aggressive over these next several months to try to recruit, even with a shortened extraordinary academy, if that's appropriate, to try to get more laterals into the fire service. And I know there's some concern about that idea, namely, how does it affect our drive to increase the diversity of our department? And that's a very valid point. And I just think it ought to be discussed and balanced. The equities ought to be balanced here. And we got to also look to see, are there other alternatives that can put us in a better position where our communities are not having to deal with brownouts and our firefighters are not working so many hours of overtime. So I talked to the manager about it briefly today, and I'd love there to be a report back so that we could talk about this as a city council and see what we need to do, either resource wise and or direction wise, to help with this very, very important situation. I usually, get involved in sort of the day-to-day operational stuff, but this just strikes me with brownouts going on throughout the city as something that is very important and worth the attention of the policymakers working in collaboration with our manager, our fire chief, our assistant city manager, and our firefighters themselves to see what we can do to create some real relief here. Thank you.
Mayor. It is something that the fire chief and I have been discussing, looking at strategies on how we can bring some more resources to bear. So I will provide a report back to the council.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. City Manager. We've got Mayor Pro Tem Ashby and Councilmember Harris. Go ahead.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you mind if I go first? I had actually raised my hand.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
So Mayor, I appreciate what you just said. I tend to agree, and that actually segues into what I wanted to say, which was to thank the fire department profusely for their very swift actions on the fire on the American River Parkway yesterday. I feel that the department really stepped up and held a pretty fast moving fire to 33 acres. It came right through my district, stopped at Northgate. Very decisive action. Thank you, Chief Loesch, and everybody who worked on that fire. And then I actually, somewhat in league with that, would like to ask the city manager, I have a request to have staff work on an ordinance regarding fireworks. Now this year, despite the ordinance that we passed, which I think was a good one and that I voted for, we had a tremendous amount of illegal fireworks. We had a lot of fire calls. As I recall from Chief Loesch's communication, we had something like, I believe it was 79 fire calls and some structure damage. So here's my request, Mr. City Manager, that you have staff look at an ordinance to prohibit the use of any fireworks, safe and sane or otherwise, on years when the governor has declared a drought emergency in the county of Sacramento. You know, fire danger is very significant in our city, especially as we face the most significant drought that we faced in a century. But there are caveats to this. So we know that there are many nonprofits that rely on the sale of safe and sane fireworks to make their operations whole. So I would ask this as an addendum to the ordinance that our Economic Development Department look at alternative ways for these nonprofits to do fundraising, up to and including some subsidy from the city to make them whole. Understanding that this would not be every year, but our fire danger is extreme. So that's my ask, Mr. City Manager. I'd like to bring this to Lawn Ledge at some point in the future when you have the resources to put staff on this, but certainly before next 4th of July, hopefully well before next 4th of July, so that we can have this discussion. You know, this last year, I'll close with this. The illegal fireworks were extraordinary. It sounded like our city was under a barrage attack everywhere in the city, in North Sacramento, Natomas, in East Sacramento and South Sacramento, in District 6, every district. It sounded like the city was blowing up. The chief was busy all night long writing citations and couldn't even come close to getting on top of the illegal fireworks. I think that the ordinance that we took so far is a good thing, but I think that we need to go a little farther. So I would like to bring this to Long Ledge and perhaps before the council for consideration. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, I'll be quick. I have
Yes, go ahead.
three quick things. One is I want to thank you, Mayor, for bringing up the fire issue around staffing. It's deeply concerning to me. I have one of the districts that has been heavily affected by the citywide brownouts. It's really scary because being at the edge of the city, we're surrounded by grasslands and we have fires out here every single year. So it's always really important to this particular community that we have strong, fire prevention services in place. And I know that yesterday there were 30 acres, as Councilmember Harris has described already, in the heart of our city. And, we relied on Metro Fire and West Sac Fire to help us put that out. And right now we have such low staffing that we aren't even actually able to send out aid and help anybody else. So it's very un-Sacramento-like. We're usually the first on the scene to help everybody else. Right now, we can't even take care of ourselves. We have brownouts, which basically means, an engine or one apparatus out of service every day in the city of Sacramento, and our entire firefighting staff on mandatory overtimes, which is A, expensive, and B, exhausting and not a recipe for success. So I just want to thank you, Mayor, and put my voice behind him, City Manager, as well. Looking forward to a quick response from you and the chief. Secondly, I want to brag on my chief of staff, Karina Talamontes. As we speak right now, this moment is receiving the Elected Official of the Year award from the Sacramento County Young Dems. And she is getting that in large part because of all of her hard work around her response to the pandemic and running a really great vaccination clinic and doing bilingual outreach and working with Councilmember Harris and you, Mayor, and me and you, City Manager, on all of these clinics and really working together. And I'm just over the moon proud of her. Such a wonderful young elected official. If you all don't know, Karina is one of the 2 youngest elected officials in Sacramento County. And right now she's chairing the Sacramento County Office of Education over there with Jay's wife. And she just got this award, and she's really a rising star in Sacramento. And I'm so proud of her, and thank all of you for supporting her all the time too, especially Councilmember Vang, who's very supportive of Karina. But I'm really proud of her and just want to brag on her. And then lastly, Mayor, I have an adjourn in memory, and I will make this brief as well. She's actually from Councilmember Harris's district, but a very dear friend of mine. Molly Fling passed away a couple weeks ago. She one time appeared in front of us and received an award for actually providing the most volunteer hours in the city of Sacramento. Can you believe that? She ran the Natomas Police and Community Resource Center for probably 11 years. I don't even know what we're going to do without her there. It's a huge vacuum. She's a wonderful human being. She lived a great life. She's from Portland, Oregon, but moved here, worked at UC Davis for many years, and as a huge presence. She's been president of the Natomas Community Association. She's been very involved with JIBE and transportation. She's been a volunteer for our Sacramento Police Department forever. She loves Chief Hahn. She loves Howard Chan. She's a big fan of this city of Sacramento, always rooting for us, every single one of us, and always helping in every way that she can with libraries and school bonds and anything that she could do. She's walked precincts for many a thing to help all of us be a success. So she's also a very shining example of a person who, in her final days, was really loved by her community. Her neighbor actually moved in with her to provide day-to-day care, and her community brought her food and and helped her with her internet and helped her with just, being still connected during a really difficult time around the pandemic. So grateful to my community for supporting her, everyone who loves Molly so much, and gonna miss her a lot. So I'd like to adjourn in her memory, Mayor Molly Flink tonight. Thank you.
I'm very sorry. Thank you.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes, of course.
I knew Molly from the actual inception of my political aspirations. She was an absolute stalwart of the Natomas community, a brilliant, lovely human being. Angelique, thank you so much for bringing this forward. I really appreciate it. And also about Karina, you're absolutely right. She's a rock star. And I deeply appreciate all of her efforts for the immunization clinic at Natomas High. You got all of this completely right. Thank you so much.
Okay, excellent. We got Councilmember Laloie.
Councilmember Ashby, my apologies if I have to talk about another topic, but all respect to you. And I had an honor of meeting your chief of staff. So everything you just alluded to, kudos to her and mega congratulations. But I wanted to ask our city manager, Mr. Chan, and if Bridget Dean is here also, I would greatly appreciate it. Some of the concerns that we're having, or I'm having in my district, is I'm very concerned about the safety of the unhoused. I'm also very concerned about the safety of the residents within the district too. Right now, our parks are not very usable due to the fact that we're constantly finding needles and what have you. So I wanted to just reach out and, again, going back to public health and safety, if there's something you can look into. I know we're bounded by Boise law, but I don't know how much that can be possibly stretched, or I want to be very clear. I don't want to get 200 emails tonight. I'm not talking about moving anyone or sweeping. I just want to see what we can do to create a more safe environment. If one of these fires starts in one of my camps in my district, it's going to be major. And with the climate the way it is, we've had multiple fires in my district. So I wanted to see if you can come back and share with us maybe by next week if we can create some ordinance, so at least if there's human waste, it shouldn't be drained down into storm drains. Needles. We have sidewalks that are completely blocked. Is that I got a call from a resident who's handicapped. She's concerned that she cannot go down a particular street on her wheelchair, so she has to come out on the street. Again, I'm just sharing. I don't want to politicize this by any means. I'm just sharing this with you to see if we can have some information by next week or some solution and guidelines, guidance from you.
Councilmember Lowy, I'm going to let Bridget chime in here for a bit too, but I think we can accomplish some of the things that you're talking about without an actual ordinance. As you know, we're still standing up Department of Community Response. We can continue to work through the hiring of both city staff side and entering into contracts with service providers. But as also this council approved, I think it was Bridget can chime in on the actual number, but I think it's about $1 million with one of these vendors that can take care of some of the things you're talking about. The needles, I think we're working with HR2 on a contract that we have had for many years now to deal with biohazards. But Bridget, can you speak to that? Maybe some of it now, and we could even do a report back the following week. But I don't think what the council member is asking for would require an ordinance.
No, thank you very much. Council member, we can, as you all know, I think it was June 29th, we voted in the Forensic Clean contract, which was around $1.5 million. And they are currently in the process of adding additional staff as well. So we are working with them, and we can definitely take a look at those areas that you have concern of. Additionally, the need, the related to the parks, I will reach out and work with Mario, Lara, with our parks and make sure that we're coordinating together to make sure those areas are cleaned and safe for the individuals using them. Additionally, I just want to encourage everybody in the community. I know it's been a transition with DCR, but we have created a 311 queue for just trash pickup that I just want to remind folks, if you enter it in there, we are getting to those fairly quickly. And it really allows us to do the outreach portion as well to have long-term remedy and support and resources to individuals. So we can absolutely come back with a report back out and bring you back some more information on that, as well as those specific locations in your district, Councilmember Laloli.
I greatly appreciate it. And again, I'm a little bit concerned, especially with the weather the way it is. I have some businesses in my industrial area that they actually have natural gas tanks. And last week there was a fire on the other side of the fence from this tank. And I don't even want to think what would have happened if the fire would have jumped the fence or that thing would have caught on fire. So yeah, whatever assistance that I can get from yourself and our city manager, I greatly appreciate it.
So Councilmember Lowe, if I may, Councilmember Lowe, just to point towards the next several weeks here of the city council in the city. August the 10th, we are scheduled to take up the master siting plan, which I know we've talked a lot about. But in addition, we intend to present a tentative funding plan, not just for safe ground and for shelter and for permanent supportive housing and for all the other things that are needed, but also for the clean and safe strategies that are going to be part of everything that we do here. And so pointing to that date, because I think it's going to be a significant date, not that the work is going to be concluded, but it's going to be a key moment where we're going to take siting and funding, put them together so that we can begin implementation.
Ms. Mayor, I know that last time we talked, you thought that Caltrans, they were going to meet sometime this month on a
Yes.
Okay.
We are engaged in very intensive conversations with the governor's office and Caltrans about a number of Caltrans sites. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else? Councilmembers Vang and Valenzuela. I don't know who is first. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to use this opportunity also just to echo Mayor Pro Tem Angelique Ashby and give Karina a big congratulations on her award tonight. She is incredible, fierce, and just want to congratulate her for all her great work that she's doing and Mayor Pro Tem's district. Also, I just wanted to share that and also give a shout out to my team, Team Heart and Hustle, for the great work that they did this Sunday, canvassing and knocking on doors. You know, I represent a district that actually has the highest of cases of COVID in the city of Sacramento and the county. And we've been doing everything we can to make sure that we get our community vaccinated. And we do have our standing clinic every Friday from 9 to 11 at the Sam and Bonnie Pinnell Community Center. But what we're realizing is that we actually have to meet the community where they're at. And that means knocking on doors and canvassing and actually bring the vaccine to their homes. And so we did that this weekend and it was incredibly successful. I just want to share with our Sacramento residents that in less than a month, our Sacramento daily cases has actually risen drastically. And so those who are not vaccinated or are only partially vaccinated actually remains really vulnerable to the infection Delta variant. So there's a pandemic among those who are not vaccinated. And these numbers actually, when you look at it is actually really troubling in the Black community where we're seeing the rise in cases. And so just wanted to share that information, that PSA, because we have to do everything we can to protect our most vulnerable communities. community. I also want to announce that recently Dr. Kassiri just announced and making a strong recommendation that folks should still wear masks indoors due to the recent rate increases in COVID-19 from the Delta variant. She made that recommendation just recently, and I want to make sure to share that with all of our residents and our staff, that she's recommending that folks, even if you're vaccinated, to make sure that you're masked indoors, just given the rise in Sacramento County. And so I just want to share that, and then just give a shout out also to my team, Dr. Pan, Vaccinate 58, and Sherry Jackson, who is the neighborhood association leader in Pollock Ranch behind Luther Burbank. She was really critical in helping us reach the community. We knocked over 900 homes to make sure we get folks vaccinated. So just wanted to share that. So yeah, thank you so much, Mayor.
That's great work. Really great. Congratulations. All right, we've got Councilmember Valenzuela. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I almost forgot to announce that next Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we're going to be doing a community meeting in Southland Park regarding proposed safe ground sites. And I really, if folks want information on that, they can call our office. We're hoping to have the flyer up in the next day or two. But in lieu of that, they can call us at 808-7004. And just to remind my colleagues in the community at large, I sound a little bit like a broken record. The ultimate upstream intervention to the issues associated with homelessness is giving people a place to go. So I really encourage my colleagues, if you want to talk at all about safe ground or what's been going on at WX. I know there was a letter sent by Southside Park, and we have been putting out information and talking to them pretty continually. We'd really like to see more safe grounds open so that we can take pressure off that site, and would love to work with you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there members of the public that want to testify on items not on the agenda?
Yes, I have two people that would like to testify. The first is Lambert Davis. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
It's your turn to speak.
I would like to, first of all, thank City Councilman Valenzuela for having and showing an example of how you can meet with your community even during a pandemic. I would suggest, as I listen to Mr. Lalole talk, I know he's new, and District 2 is one of the most segregated. It was gerrymandered that way before I was born. And my parents moved here in 1946. And I thought I heard you say earlier that you have a fondness for family-owned businesses. Well, that's what we are. So I would suggest, we've already talked to Francisco de la Torre III. You can give him a raise. He did a wonderful job. But I'd like to have a teleconference with you. You know who I am. You've tasted our cheesecakes before you were elected. And I've already mentioned that we have a manufacturer in Southern Cal where you have interest. So it would be to your advantage to contact me. I'm an ally to anyone trying to help District 2, especially Del Paso Heights. And I want to say that tonight I saw 3 assistant city managers talk in one day. How many assistant city managers are there? I'm learning that there's 5 different departments in the city manager's office. So I have to keep going on because we went viral during the 4th of July, and it looks like everybody's excited about us except the city manager's office to cut the checks loose to us. So we're not going away. We're actually getting encouraged by family members. And shout out to Del Paso Heights because they kept us alive during this pandemic. But get to me, Mr. Lalole, and be to your advantage. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is R. Wake.
Hello?
Welcome to the meeting. You have 2 minutes to address the council. R. Wake.
Mr. Wake?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, great. So Councilmember Harris mentioned the fire on the American River Parkway. I watched several news reports on that, and one thing that was definitely brought up in the news reports was the amount of garbage in the American River Parkway, and which is a contributing factor to the fires, and not only the dry grass. But, we've talked about all these, since environmental issues were brought up at this meeting too, You know, we can't claim to be environmentalists when we're allowing the American River Parkway to be used as a garbage dump and the American River to be used by a toilet for at least several miles of stretch of the American River there on the parkway. We need to do something about that. Also, you know, I heard, I agree with some of what Councilmember Lowley said about safety. You know, I've been following this issue for a very, very long time, and I do kind of agree with what he said. You know, we certainly don't want to be breaking up encampments and everything, but like Councilwoman Valenzuela said, we do need more safe ground sites. I'm going to keep banging this drum. Here on Southland Park, we are still suffering from people dumping trash underneath the overpass on 35th Avenue. Riverside Boulevard is a disaster. This morning, when I was walking my dog about 6:30 in the morning, I had to call the non-emergency number for the city police because 2 people from the homeless encampment could have been casing houses, walking in between properties in Rosa del Rio. You know, we need solutions down here. You know, you guys were supposed to have this master plan voted on in July, and now it's August, and it's probably going to take even longer to get sites open. We need to quit kicking the can down the road here. We need solutions. Everything that was promised to us when we had a meeting in City Council District 5, such as getting no dumping signs underneath the overpass and cameras, has not been done yet. We're still waiting for solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next speaker is Rebecca Sandoval. Rebecca
Hello. Yes, thank you. I am a trustee for Twin River School District Area 3, and I'm calling about a concern. Every day someone is killed or seriously injured on Sacramento streets. Nearly half of the people killed were on foot or bike. These grim statistics disproportionately impact Sacramento children who walk or ride to school. One of my schools is Garden Valley, located at 3601 Larchwood Drive with over 400 students. The majority of the drop-off and pickup activity of our students occurs along Larchwood Drive and some along Patio Avenue. About 1/4 of our students walk to school with key routes along Larchwood, Patio Avenue, and across Northgate Boulevard. Substantial volumes of pedestrians walk along narrow sidewalks. This is taken from the City of Sacramento Vision Zero School Safety Study 2020, which I hope all of you will look at. It is designed to facilitate safe and equitable travel to school. Recently, there is a construction staging area being developed across from a city vacant lot, 10 feet from Garden Valley School on Larchwood. Nobody in our school district was contacted. There's great concern that heavy construction equipment will be traveling on Larchwood Drive and that our community will be greatly impacted, especially the children. Next is, in addition, there is to another vacant city lot, there's a proposal for a hospice facility. As a trustee, I'm concerned that the entrance will be 10 feet away from where our school access is, and our children will be having to walk past a facility where they know that there is death and dying. Our community is greatly impacted. This is going to be in a residential area. Ambulances are going to be competing with children trying to walk to school. And I want to say that Twin Rivers is the one who
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Will you make your final comment, please?
Yes, I hope that the council will remember that we served over 5 million meals during COVID to our community. We provided.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Mayor, I have no more speakers.
Okay, members, we've heard from all the members of the public who called in. The council has given their additional ideas and questions. I want to thank you for a good, productive day. We are back, and if there's nothing more to come before the city council, we are adjourned.